Hello everyone. So today our group are going to present the title of Improvement of Public Bus System in Petaling Jaya. There are 4 together in our groups, and I'm Lim Kim Yong. And today our group brings up the issue low efficiency on public buses in Petaling Jaya. So thanks to Mr. Muhammad Iskandar for giving us guide during our preparations. So I will start with the introduction part. So for the introduction part, we will begin with the statement of problem. So according to the Department of Statistics 2012, we know that there are substantial increase in population size, which means the population size increased drastically until 600,000 and over. So another point is from 2008 to 2013, the number of registered cars have risen from 17 million to 23 million according to Road Transport Department 2013, which means there are huge increase in the number of registered cars. And this causes the problem, for example, traffic congestions, accidents, limitations on parking space and air pollution. According to Why Do People Use Their Cars? A case of study in Malaysia by Abdallah Nurdin Kamba, Riza Atik Oke Rahmat, Abiruddin Ismail. Okay, let us proceed to the next part, which is the background of the problems. So on the account of poor quality and the low usage of public transport from 2009 to 2018, the National Transport Policy NTP have suggested that they want to see the national government's aims to achieve 40% of public transport usage by the end of 2030, and this is where the information come from, the intelligence transport. So the main background of the problem that we find out is passengers fail to catch a bus and they always miss a bus, especially for the elderly, and this causes students late for classes and employees are late for their meetings. So another problem that we find out during the research is bus bunchings. So bus bunching, which means 2 buses came simultaneously to a bus stop, and which means this might cause exit more than 30 minutes after the previous bus departure by J.M. Pilakowski in 2009. So another problem is the bus drivers skip some bus stop during peak hour to keep up with the schedule. They don't stop at particular bus stop in which there are less passengers in that bus stop, and this causes the particular bus stop passengers have to wait for a very long time, and they might get annoying. So I think that this is the problem which the passengers don't like to take a public bus. Okay, so what are the main causes of the problem? Okay, there are 2 referring to the why public bus is a less attractive mode of transport. A case of study of Putrajaya, Malaysia 2017 by Muhammad Nasri Bohan, which is punctuality of bus. The bus always came late, and also another reason is the low bus frequency. Okay, so the other causes is long distance to bus stop, which means the passenger have to wait for a very long distance to reach the bus stop. And also the another reasons is the poor condition of bus. As you can see in the figure, the bad condition of the seat, and also sometimes the conditions of air conditioners is not in well conditions. According to the Rapid KL Bus Service in City Centres, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Aptitude of Good Service 2013 by Abdullah Aziz Abdullah and Rohaya Mat Talib. Another reason is overloading of bus during peak hour. According to Why Aren't You Taking the Bus 2018 by Emilio Daniel. As you can see in the figure, there are many people which overload in the bus. So what are the consequences if the problem is not solved? First, people will prefer to buy a private car, and this may cause the problem of traffic congestion in Petaling Jaya to become worse. And also, this wastes the effort of the government and also waste the money of the users to buy a private car and waste of the resources. So this problem must be solved so that it can benefit both the government and the users. So the next part, data collection, will be continued by my fellow teammates, which is Chua Yong Xiang. Thank you.
Thanks Kim Yong for giving us the introductions of the progress report. I'm Chua Yong Xiang and I will be presenting for the data collections. Basically, we collect the data in two methods. The first method is an online survey through Google Forms. We spreaded the questionnaire in the medium of Google Form from 14 to 27 May with a minimum target of 30 responses. The data from the online survey was then analyzed and will be presented in the following parts of the report. The second method is through face-to-face survey by approaching the public in Petaling Jaya and ask them their experiences and opinions on public bus services based on the questionnaire. Unfortunately, we couldn't carry out this survey due to the latest pandemic outbreak. As a result, our data collected from the online surveys were not enough, and we need to obtain the data from several internet sources to complete our project with minimal flaws. For work allocations, Travision will allocate work to group members, do some research for articles related to the issues, create the questionnaires for online survey, and also graph the response given by the respondents. Me, Chua Yong Xiang, I will gather and analyze the data, do some research on the transportation background in Petaling Jaya, send Google Form through social media, and also find the solutions for the problems. For Lim Kim Yong, his job is to conduct a research on the background of the problems, and also for the past survey and related statistics, he also need to find solutions for the problems and send Google Form through social media. For our last member, Dewa Kumar, he is a final editor of the paperworks. He create the questionnaires for online survey, analyze and interpret the response given by the respondent, and also compile all parts of the documents. Now move on to work completed from week 5 to week 10. Based on the Gantt chart 4.1, at week 5, we had some discussions on the questionnaire. At week 6, the preparations of the questionnaire draft has been done, and we finalized the questionnaire at week 7. At the same time, we also distribute the questionnaire through social media to the public in Petaling Jaya until week 8. The response from the respondent were then analyzed, and a progress report was concluded after the preparations at week 10. At week 11, a presentation video for the progress report will be prepared, and at week 12, we will interpret the data, and at week 13, preparations of proposal will be carried out. The proposal expected to be finalized at week 14th. Moving on to the last part of my presentations, which are challenges and projections. When we prepare for the project, we definitely face some challenges. The first challenges is we couldn't discuss face-to-face and brainstorm the ideas together due to the MCO, which is the Movement Control Order implemented by the government. It causes our discussion to be low productive. Second challenge is the lack of consultations and guidance from the lecturer due to lecturer had to track our progress. Besides, the result that we collected from the survey form may be inaccurate because the one who fill up the survey form may not be the public bus users in Petaling Jaya since it is distributed online, and we cannot do some further explanations if the respondents don't understand the question. Okay. Lastly, our face-to-face survey also couldn't be carried out due to the Movement Control Order implemented. This project is projected to complete as planned on the 25th of June. Although there were challenges, but I think we as a team can overcome it, and the challenges won't delay the completion of the project. Now I will pass to my groupmate Wei Chun for presenting the early result.
Thank you, Choi Xiang, for presentation. Hi, I'm Choi Jun, and I would like to present about the early result based on our survey. For information, we have conducted an online survey by sending Google Forms to the public through various social media. Our initial targeted respondents were 30, and after 14 days, we have received a total of 31 responses from 17 males and 14 females. Their age ranged from 19 to 46 and were mostly 20 years old students. The respondents' frequent destinations by taking the public buses were school, MRT, and LRT stations. Some of the respondents used public bus services frequently to shopping malls and markets, and only a minority of them used public buses to workplace and bank. Next, I would like to discuss about the data tabulated from the survey. The first figure shows the frequency of bus usage by the respondent. Most of the respondents use public bus often, which is more than one-third of the responses, the one in red, and another one-third of the respondents used public buses sometimes. Unfortunately, there are 1/5 or 20% of the respondents who rarely or never use public bus services. There are still a small number of respondents who use it on a daily basis. Next, the second figure shows the time needed to access the nearest bus stop by the respondent. In other words, it's the distance between their current location to the nearest bus stop. So there are about 3/4 of the respondents that can walk to the nearest bus stop within 5 minutes, the one in blue, and 1/5, the one in red, required 10 minutes walk to the nearest bus stop. Only around 1/10 of the respondents who take more than 10 minutes to the nearest bus stop. So it shows that actually bus stops are quite reachable and not that far. The third figure shows us the pedestrian accessibility to the bus stop. Before going through the chart, I would like to explain about the selection first. The word convenient here means the pedestrians can access to the public bus stop easily without crossing a route. And the word safe here means that if the bus stop is located at the opposite side of the route, there is infrastructure such as traffic light, zebra crossing, or sky bridge that can aid them to cross the route safely. So back to the figure, most of the respondents say that the bus stops are safe and convenient, the one in blue. Another 1/3 of them feel that the bus stops are safe but inconvenient. And about 1/6 of the respondents say that the bus stops are convenient but not safe, and only some of the respondents complain that the bus stops are not safe and inconvenient. The next figure shows the average waiting time for public buses. About half of the respondents say that they have to wait for 20 to 30 minutes to catch a bus, followed by 2/5 of the respondents, the one in red, who have to spend 10 to 20 minutes to catch a bus. Some of the respondents claim that they need to wait for 30 to 40 minutes, the one in green, and only minority of them spend less than 10 minutes or more than 40 minutes for the public buses to arrive. Almost 90% of them said that the public buses arrive within 30 minutes, which is a reasonable waiting time because it is almost equal to the frequency of bus, which is once every 30 minutes. The fifth figure shows us the comfortability of catching public buses. More than 1/3, the one in yellow, of the respondents missed the bus because they were not concentrating when the bus was approaching. Either they were on their phone or they were chatting with their friends. So those who say that they could catch a bus effortlessly, or the bus driver did not notice they were holding their arms out, or they were unable to catch a bus during rainy days, consists of 1/5 of the respondents respectively, the one in green, blue, and red. There's only one respondent who claimed that he was tired of catching a bus due to the long waiting time. The next figure shows us the availability of bus seats. Half of the respondents criticized that the seats are not enough for every user. About 1/3 of the respondents thought that the seats are enough for every passenger, and the minority of them prefer to stand while taking a bus, and none of the respondents complained about the conditions of seats. It means that the bus seats are actually well maintained but just lack in quantities. Moving on to the next figure, it shows us the confusions on the moving locations of bus when on board. Or I rephrase it, have you ever encountered an embarrassing moment such that you are on board on the bus and you are not sure whether next station is your destination? You are struggling should you press on the stop button or not. So majority, which consists of 2/3 of the respondents, says that they are confused when they are traveling to a new place. Only 1/5 of them were confused even when they were not traveling to a new place. A minority of them were certain about their destinations and the moving locations of the bus. The next figure shows the satisfactions on several aspects of public buses, which includes the punctuality, bus fare, duration of journey, and bus drivers' driving skill. Among all of the aspects above, the aspect with the lowest mean rating 2.8 is the punctuality of public buses, followed closely by the durations of the journey, which got a mean rating of 3.0. The bus drivers' driving aspects, the one in orange, gets a mean rating of 3.6, and the aspect that satisfied most of the respondents is the bus fare, which got a mean rating of 4.4. The overall mean rating for the aspects above is 3.5, which is slightly above average. However, I think that the public buses should improve in terms of the punctuality and the duration of journey. The next figure shows the violations of traffic regulations by the bus driver. So the majority of the respondents agree that the bus driver follow traffic regulations. However, some of them insisted that they disobey traffic lights and the speed limits. And only minority of them complained that the bus driver were doing other things such as talking telephone or counting money while driving. So I think this situation should be improved because the bus driver driving affects the passenger safety. The 10th figure shows us the satisfactions on punctuality of bus during peak hours, because these hours are the busiest hours where traffic congestion often occurs. The majority of the respondents were unsatisfied with the punctuality of the bus during rush hours. About one quarter of them had no idea whether the bus arrived on time or not. Only a small number of them say that the bus are on time during peak hours and were satisfied with the service. So the next figure shows us the passengers overload during peak hours. Only a minority of the respondents were uncertain about the situations. Meanwhile, the rest of them insisted that the number of passengers always exceeded the seating capacity during peak hours. For your information, the seating capacity is limited at 40 passengers per bus, including sitting and standing. That's all for my part. Thank you for your time. I would like to invite our next speaker, Deva Kumar, to proceed our early results. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the previous presenter, Choi Wei-chun. Now, I will continue with the early results of our progress report. I will continue with figure 7.12, which is the perspective of respondents on the frequency of buses during off-peak hours. As you can see from the figure, around half of the respondents say that they are uncertain about it. 1/3 of the respondents say the frequency decreases during off-peak hours, and about a quarter of the respondents say it remains the same even during off-peak hours. Moving on to figure 7.13, which shows the perspective of respondents on bus defying scheduled routes. As we can see from the figure, 1/3 of the respondents say either the bus do not defy the scheduled routes or the bus do defy the scheduled routes during peak hours and off-peak hours. 2/10 of the respondents say that the bus do defy the scheduled routes but do only during off-peak hours. And about more than 1/10 of the respondents say the bus do defy scheduled routes but during peak hours only. Figure 7.14 shows the ways to obtain information for the respondents. As we can see from the figure, almost majority of the respondents have said that they obtain the information via mobile phone applications, and about a quarter of the respondents say that they obtain the information through other people and the information displayed on the bus stops. Only minorities of them say they obtain information from their own experience and in the bus. Figure 7.15 shows the information accuracy on the public bus system. Most of the respondents say the information of the public bus is inaccurate on scheduled times, and more than half of the respondents say it is inaccurate on the bus number and the routes. Only a minority of them say the information given is accurate in every aspect. Figure 7.16 shows the perspective of the respondents on confusions encountered by first-time bus users. 7/10 of the respondents say that the first-time bus users will be confused due to the lack of information, and almost 2/10 of the respondents say that they have no idea whether the first-time bus users will get confused or not. But around 1/10 of the respondents say that they can get to their destination even if they are first-time bus users. Figure 7.17 shows the opinions of the respondents on why public prefers private vehicles over public buses. As we can see, majority of their respondents say it is because private vehicles are more convenient to carry more items and consumes less time. A quarter of the respondents say it is because of the lack of reliable bus information. Around 2/10 of the respondents say it is because of poor bus services and the bus environment is not comfortable. Figure 7.18 shows the opinions of the respondents on why poor efficiency in public bus system. 3/4 of the respondents say it is because of the poor time schedule, and 2/3 of the respondents say it is due to time congestion. 1/3 of the respondents say it is either due to insufficient buses or poor drivers' personal qualities. 1/4 of the respondents say it is either insufficient number of drivers or the poor scheduled routes. Figure 7.19 shows the respondents concerning issues on public bus system. Almost every single respondent agrees that the most concerning issue is the punctuality. More than half of the respondents agree it is due to the duration of journey from one bus stop to the other or to their destination. Around less than half of the respondents say it is due to the accessibility to the bus stops. 1/3 of the respondents say it is due to the safety. 1/4 of the respondents say it is due to the inaccurate information. Around 1/10 of the respondents say it is due to hours of service, and less than 1/10 of the respondents say it is due to the bus environment and the driver's attitude. Figure 7.2 shows the percentage of agreement on the alternate solutions that we have provided to the respondents. Most of the respondents, or 3/4 of the respondents, agree with the alternate solution of installing GPS in every bus to improve tracking accuracy and allow users to catch and stop the bus via mobile phone application. 2/3 of the respondents agree with the other two alternate solutions, which are installing a device at every bus stop to allow users to stop the bus with just a click of a button, or to reschedule the time and route of public buses in a way to maximize the efficiency of transportation. The other two options are build more bus stations to increase the accessibility of public buses and hire more drivers to increase the number of public buses, which were agreed by more than half of the respondents. The final figure of the early results show that most of the respondents agree that they will use the public bus system if the system does improve. These are the references and the inferences. The references are links to the internet sources that we have referred to, and the references include the Google Form link, which you can use to have a look at the question that we have provided to the respondents. Thank you.